What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch and review for you. Today we're talking about the new KBShimmer It's Fall About You collection for autumn 2023. We've got 9 brand new nail polishes in a whole rainbow of different colors, and we have some exciting finishes, including a magnetic polish and 2 flash reactive polishes. If you haven't heard of KBShimmer before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US, and all of their polishes are 5 free, meaning they are free of 5 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal-derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty-free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So let me just dive into the polishes, and then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the collection, my thoughts on the brand, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the KBShimmer Ridge Filling base coat. So we'll start off with this first shade. It's called the Perfect Match, and it's this really beautiful silvery base. We have an intense iridescent shimmer running throughout that really shifts depending on how you're looking at it. Head on, I feel like I see mostly this coppery color into gold, but then around the edges I can see a lot more of green and even into blue. And then we also have this gorgeous hollow fleck running throughout that looks so stunning. I actually loved the way that this looked in one coat. Over the ridge filling base coat, I felt like I still got that sheerness, but it softened my visible nail line enough that it just gave me very bridal vibes. But I also love the way it looks in 2 coats. Still get a touch of sheerness. You can see a little bit of that visible nail line, but I think it's just such a stunning color. I love that sort of look on the nail. Next up, we have the shade Patch Things Up, and this one is a beautiful orange shimmer. So this is something that I've been seeing with some fall shimmers recently, where in the first coat it almost looks like a corally color. You can definitely see strong pinky tones to it, but once I got full opacity, which for me took 2 coats, it definitely took on a much more orangey vibe. And I think that's just because we have this sort of pinky base color, and it's just so packed with golden shimmer and flecks that it makes it look more orangey. So I actually really love that. I think it gives such a vibrant and saturated color, and this golden shimmer actually has a little bit of an iridescence to it. So at certain angles it almost looks a little bit more greenish, and at extreme angles you can actually see a little bit of blue into purple. And then we have the shade I Can't De-cider, and this is going to be a tough one to describe. It's very unique. I think the color at its core is pretty much a gold shimmer, but it's actually this duochromy, almost multi-chromatic looking shimmer with that iridescence in there, because in addition to gold I also see that coppery color coming through really strongly, and at extreme angles I see that green into blue as well. And then we also have again those larger silver hollow flecks that I like to call little diamond chips, and this is a really interesting shade. I think it's really beautiful, but I don't think that it suits my skin tone. I think it washes me out a tiny bit just because it's so golden, and I have a very yellowy skin tone, so I don't know. I feel like this would work really well on deeper skin tones though. Moving on, we have the shade Go Big or Gourd Home. And this one in the bottle actually looks like a straight up green, but on the nails I was definitely getting a strong teal vibe. So it actually has this sort of bluish teal jelly base, and then it is packed with that iridescent shimmer, and primarily I see that pink into gold, and then again at extreme angles I'm seeing a little bit more of that greenish intense color that I see in the bottle. And it actually did look a little bit sheer in 2 coats, but I popped on a third and I actually preferred the way that it looked in 2 coats, so I like it. It's kind of just like a soft iridescent jelly vibe. Then we have the shade Ripped Apart, and this one is this really beautiful, slightly warm blue reflective glitter. So the glitters in here are actually that flash reactive pigment, so when you are using flash photography or when you have a flashlight on them, it looks like absolutely cartoonish. But I actually love the way that these flash reactive glitters look in just regular lighting. It adds such an intensity to that sparkle, and I think it just works so perfectly in this beautiful, slightly warm, deep blue base. So I got perfect coverage in 2 coats. I know this is a fall collection, but something about these blues with that intense silvery sparkle always makes me think of winter, holiday, nighttime, stars and snow falling. So that's the vibes that I'm getting from this polish. Next up we have the shade Ready to Throw Down, and this one one is actually a magnetic polish. So we've got this almost indigo base color, and it is packed with a gorgeous iridescent purple shimmer. So looking at it head on, I feel like I mostly get that purple into even like a fuchsia color, but at extreme angles, I can see a copper into gold. And then we also have that diamond chip hollow fleck running throughout that just looks so beautiful. Now, I will say, I did not realize when I first swatched this that this was a magnetic polish, although I will say KBShimmer does do a really good job of labeling what their polishes are. So like the magnetic ones have an M, the reflective ones have an R, but I just did not notice, and I thought this polish just looked really stunning on its own. But I did go back and re-swatch it with magnetization just to show you. So if you're thinking that my nails look a lot longer randomly in this shot, it's because this was about a week later. But yeah, once you magnetize it, all of that intense duochromy purple shimmer goes to the center, and then we're left with this deep, almost navy blue with the diamond hollow sparkle around the outside, and it's just giving Aurora Borealis vibes. It looks so beautiful. It's very spacey, and it just feels like a very classic KBShimmer kind of color to me. Next up, we have the shade Along for the Ride, and let me tell you, my camera did not capture this one as beautifully as it looks in real life. This is this really deep blackened shimmer, but when you look at it, you can see this purple into fuchsia iridescent shimmer that around the edges looks a little bit coppery and even into gold. And then again, we have those little diamond chip hollow flecks in there that makes it look very cosmic. But I gotta say, it has so much depth to that iridescent shimmer that looks so beautiful in person and is so hard to capture on camera. So hopefully you get a little glimpse of how it looks, but it's just so stunning in real life. Also, this one was fully one coat coverage on me. And then we have the shade Let the Beet Drop. This is another flash reactive glitter in a jelly base, and I love this color. It's this beautiful deep maroon kind of shade, and then we have just a ton of that flash reactive glitter in there, and you can just see, even in my regular swatch, it just looks so vibrant and sparkly and unreal gorgeous. The coverage on this one was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to talk a little bit more about flash reactive glitters in a minute, but I do think that the KBShimmer formula of flash reactive glitters is definitely the easiest I've used. I feel like it's very smooth and workable, so was very impressed with this coverage and very impressed with the formula. And last but definitely not least, we have this shade Core Values, and this is actually what I'm wearing on my nails right now. I'm not wearing it in the intro and outro, but I am wearing it in real life right now, and this is such a stunning color. We have this sort of like purpley maroon jelly base that is full of this iridescent fleck that's so tiny it looks like a shimmer, but it still has that sort of elegance of a flaky, and combined together it creates this stunning, perfect autumnal red color. Looking at it head on, I feel like it mostly looks like a reddish pink into this coppery sort of color, but at different angles you see so many more colors. You can see gold into green and then even into this almost purpley kind of color. So it's very dimensional, very stunning. This video does not do this color justice. It is so beautiful in person. So here are all these shades together, and you can see we have a really beautiful mix of colors. One thing I love from KBShimmer is that they really do give us a nice rainbow of colors for every season. So there's really always something for everyone, no matter what kind of colors you tend to lean towards. But what I really like about this collection in particular is that it feels more like a transition into winter kind of collection. I think all of these colors work really well for fall, but I feel like it also works really well because you can wear these colors through winter. And I know not everybody wears their polishes seasonally, but I personally love to. I feel like it's just a great excuse to break out different colors and finishes. And I really love polishes that can work for multiple seasons. And I know sometimes we get so caught up in buying the new collections for the new seasons, but it's nice to have one that kind of just feels like it works through multiple seasons. So So I think I can see myself wearing these for pretty much the rest of the year and then even into early January. So I'm very excited about these. All of the colors are really stunning. All of the formulas were very impressive. I always love the KBShimmer formula. I always say it's the easiest formula in my collection, I think. And yeah, I'm just really impressed, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So those are the polishes. And like I said, I really enjoyed these. I think the colors are really stunning. One thing I actually appreciate about KBShimmer is I feel like even though they do these themed collections, for the most part, it feels like their polishes can work for different seasons. So it doesn't feel like you're locked into one specific season when you buy a collection or a polish from them. I feel like a lot of their colors are just so versatile and they really work for a lot of different times of year. And I think that's probably in part due to the color choices that they do, just the combinations and all of the different stuff that they add into each polish, which makes them so dimensional. I think makes them work for multiple seasons because you get like multiple colors and effects in them. And I really do enjoy their formula in general. I've said it before, but KBShimmer is definitely one of the most, if not the most beginner-friendly brands I have ever used. I just think there's something about the formula in general that is very smooth and workable, and they're also super opaque, so a lot of times I can get away with wearing them in one coat. And even the ones that take more coats for opacity, I feel like they're just so easy to use and they really level out nicely on the nail, even if I'm not perfect with application. Now, the one exception to that rule is I will say in general, flash reactive polishes tend to be thicker and a little bit less beginner friendly, not just from KBShimmer, but in general. But I would say as far as flash reactive polishes go, KBShimmer is definitely the easiest brand to use for me. But in general, I would say that that formula is a little bit on the thicker side. So just something to keep in mind if you are interested in grabbing flash reactive polishes. So now let's talk about pricing and availability. All of these polishes come in 15 milliliter bottles. They do have a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, which is part of the reason why I think application is so easy. And they're available on the KBShimmer website, but they also have a bunch of international retailers. On the KBShimmer website, they retail for $12 USD. If you're making a purchase, I also highly recommend their base and top coats. Their nail care products in general are just very good, but especially the Clearly on Top quick dry top coat is one of my all-time favorites. I think it's actually the first indie top coat I ever used, and I have just never stopped using it. Super high quality. It definitely gives like a gel-like feel. It's a nice thicker top coat, but it applies really easily and it also dries very quickly. And I also really enjoy their cleanup brushes, so just some suggestions. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think of these polishes. What do you think of the collection as a whole? Which color is your favorite? Are you planning on picking any of these up or have you already? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I also have a second YouTube channel, my vlog channel, which I will link up in the cards if you want to check that out. And of course, a huge thank you to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Rocky Man's daughter Paula, Ken, and Rosie. I really appreciate your support and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from a Patreon supporter. We'll just go with Joey this time because why not create another name that's really awkward to say on camera, aka Joey. And Joey wants to know, does your hand get sore while fanning it out to paint your ring finger? So a lot of people actually think, I've mentioned this in my fun facts before, but a lot of people think that the nail that I use on camera is my index finger. That is not true. It is actually my ring finger on my right hand because I'm a lefty, because I think that that is my prettiest nail on all 10 fingers. And also, like I said, I'm a lefty. So I do, when I film, I have to spread my fingers so far apart. And yes, it gets so sore. A couple of years ago, I got a massage and I remember when the masseuse got to this hand, she was like, oh my gosh, like you are incredibly tense in this hand. And I was like, honestly, it's probably because I just go like this. I'm not even a righty. It's just because I'm constantly going like this. So yeah, it gets super, super sore. Every once in a while, you'll kind of see it in the corner of my video that like my hand starts to get tired and my fingers get closer and closer to my ring finger. Extra fun fact though, you might not know this, but in my older videos, I used to actually use my middle finger. I have no idea why. It's kind of a stubby finger, but I don't know. I thought that was like a good finger to use when I first started out, but then I realized that my ring finger was nicer. And I never used my index finger because it is a little lopsided. So just never got into using that one. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.